every shaman I even run with, they're always running this fire build over here, and it makes me wonder what's even the point of trying to run a Windfury build when this just does so much better. I've tried a build where you don't even buff your spenders, where it's all Windfury, Lava Lash style. Try to just use your weapon damage, and then if you even take any of these talents over here, your damage just ends up being a lot of Flame Shock ticks and Lava Lash to begin with. So if you even take this side, it really just overshadows everything else on the tree. So it's about, well, what talents do you take to actually do some damage if you're trying to play a Windfury build? A Kyrian Enhancement Shaman is the best build, mostly because you want all your damage to come from your melee swings and storm strikes. Things like Storm's Wrath and Doom Winds, these two things kind of help you proc Windfury in the first place. So it just doesn't seem like that's what I want to do, is increase my mastery. But if you look at now one of the big questions is like, well, Chain Harvest has such a good AoE potential with Maelstrom Weapon stacking to 10, blowing off a Chain Harvest, yeah, running that legendary that increases your crit strike with Flame Strike or Flame Shock, and then reducing the cooldown of Chain Harvest so you can use it more often. So I run this Mechanicos dude because at the bottom it reduces the cooldown of Vesper Totem to begin with. Like after the damage is done, it shoots another little ball of arcane. If it hits a bunch of people, it reduces the cooldown of Vesper Totem to begin in the first. It reduces the cooldown. So you could typically use it every 40 seconds and that's pretty short on a cooldown. That kind of comes in line with Primordial Wave and if you're lucky on your Chain Harvest. Like this one also, I try to run. And since you can only proc Windfury off your main hand, which is main hand swings and anything that uses your main hand to attack, haste does come into play here, and I usually don't use any haste. So this Hammer of Genesis that increases your haste by 3% for 10 seconds, stacking up 5 times when you damage your enemy. You could keep up 15% haste if you're switching mobs every now and then. Helps AoE situations, not necessarily single target, but that's okay. Let's look at the build. I also wanted to play something that wasn't just the typical build, even on the Shaman point side. Like, because it's a totem, I run Call the Elements anyway. Even though it's like a 1 minute to 40-second cooldown, it's still, if you wanted to Totemic Recall it and use it again, it actually, I don't know how long it lasts, how long it sits up. See, it says stay as a target location for 30 seconds. It typically, even if you hit Call Totemic Recall on it, it still just sits there because it's waiting to do the heals, the 3 pulses of heals there. So you could use it. I'm pretty sure you use it, and then if you hit Totemic Recall, it does not like reset it at all. It's waiting to do the heals. 1, 2, 3. Still gonna sit there because of the damage stuff. So let's just hit a target. Hit it. Then it's gonna explode. Oh no, one more. There we go, exploded. And then now you can see that it's the cooldown has reset. So Totemic Recall is cool, but you'd have to do the 3 healing and the 3 damage for it to disappear and then get to drop it again. So I don't typically use it for the Vesper Totem. Of course, you're gonna take Storm Strike. You're gonna take Lava Lash because there's no other point to put it in. If you even right-clicked here, you can't even put it anywhere else. I literally took every other talent here. So let's see, for Windfury build, obviously you're going to take Windfury Weapon. Your main hand attacks have a 30% chance to trigger 3 extra attacks. That's a lot. I think it was 25%, right? At first, plus your mastery increases by 5%. So, Windfury trigger is like there's a lot to begin with. Then, each one buffs the damage by 40%, stacking up 5 times. Then you do a third one instead of just 2. And then this one increases the chance to activate Windfury by 200%. Which, if you ran no mastery, would just increase this to what? 75%? So even right here, this is increased to 90% when you smack a Doom Winds. Then of course you put points in your spenders, like Imperial Maelstrom, Raging Maelstrom, Overflowing Maelstrom. you put points here, because if you don't, you basically have to put points over here, and then again, all your damage is being overshadowed by the lava lash damage. So you take Sundering because every mob you hit with Sundering also procs a Windfury or has the same chance. It's with your main hand weapon. I use Windfury Totem because it buffs you, and if you get an extra hit with your auto attack, I'm pretty sure that can proc a Windfury. You take Storm's Wrath, increases the chance to proc Windfury, which you do want to buff Storm Strike too, so you're slamming that all the time because that's a hit with your main hand, which can proc Windfury. So Crash Lightning is also, it doesn't say you use your main hand weapon to do it, but when you hit Crash Lightning, every mob you hit has a chance to proc Windfury and increases the damage. Increases the damage of your Storm Strike if you're running Gathering Storms, which is each target hit by Crash Lightning increases the damage of your next Storm Strike by 25%, up to a max of 6 stacks. And then you take Storm Flurry. It's almost like an RNG build. There's a chance you win for it, and there's a chance you smack a bunch of extra times with Storm Strike. Storm Strike has a 25% chance to strike the target an additional time for 40% of normal damage. And then on this row here, you could take something like a spender, like Elemental Blast, but it has a 12-second cooldown if you want to hit a little harder. But then I feel like because it's an elemental damage, you're going to want something like Elemental Spirits and Elemental Weapons to increase the damage of this. Plus, you know, over here, you already took, if you take Improved Lightning Bolt, it increases damage by 20%, and you can increase that crit strike by 4%. You can also, it also applies to Elemental Blast too, but if you're already putting points here, I mean, you might as well just stick to Lightning Bolt, and there's no cooldown on it. Plus, you could technically, if you wanted to have a bigger spender that actually does some pretty good damage every so often, plus you get the bonuses to your stats, you could take this off. This literally increases your damage by 0.2%. It does like absolutely nothing. The damage is really bad and it's really low. So I mean, you could switch them out right here to do a lot more, a bit better finisher on single target. But I wanted like a pure Storm Strike Windfury build where I feel like if I have Elemental Blast, I'll actually stop spamming Storm Strike to throw off a spender, which I don't prioritize spenders in this build. I prioritize Storm Striking and Windfury as much as possible. So you take Crashing Storms because this is going to be your AoE, because you can run in Crash Lightning, Storm Strike, Sundering, but there's going to be a chance where there's still a lot of mobs around and still alive, and you're going to roll Crashing Storms on the downtime of Crash Lightning, Storm Strike, and of course Sundering has a 40-second cooldown. You're going to pop Crash Lightning, Chain Lightning to then reduce the cooldown of Crash Lightning. I'm pretty sure that's what it does. Yeah, reduce cooldown Crash Lightning by 1 second. So you're going to want to hopefully hit a Crash Lightning, because that's the priority, is Crash Lightning before Storm Strike because of this buff. Each target hit by Crash Lightning increases damage of your next Storm Strike by 25%. So even if you hit one target, you're still increasing the damage of Storm Strike by 25%. You like pretty much want to open up with this move and at least hit a target just to buff Storm Strike. If you hit Chain Lightnings during a mob pull, it's going to reduce the cooldown of Crash Lightning, which will proc Windfuries on the target, which each smack has a chance to hit a Stormbringer proc or a Storm Strike reset, something along those lines to get it rolling again. Because this is a Windfury build, which is physical damage, Storm Strike is physical damage, Doom Winds, in fact, is physical damage, Sundering is Flame Strike damage, which is physical and fire. Just regular, you want to run the Feral Spirits because it increases your physical damage dealt by 50%, which is also your melee movements, your melee attacks as well. It's just your normal swings. Legacy of the Frost Witch. If you consume 10 stacks of Maelstrom Weapon, resets the cooldown of Storm Strike and increases the damage of your physical abilities by 25%, which, again, physical abilities, Windfury, so on and so forth. Storm Strike, your melee attacks. So, out of all the stuff you choose here, you choose Ice Strike, so you kind of have no choice. You put it here, it really just prioritizes Windfury's all your damage, because Ice Strike hits with your... It says strike with an icy blade. It is your main hand hit, so it will proc a Windfury. This is like a straight Windfury build. You want Windfury to do all your damage. So what you want to do is you start off, you pull out your Feral Spirits, at the beginning of the fight. Doesn't matter, single target or AoE. And I like to, if you roll up with Doom Winds and hit the first person with Doom Winds first into a Crash Lightning, it literally increases your chance to start hitting Windfury and shit. Your damage starts to really pump up because you start off with Doom Winds. It's no different than a single target. You just want to open up with that. I really like using it on mobs. And if it's on cooldown on a boss, it's not really a big deal. You got like 3 minutes for it to come up during certain phases to use it again. I mean, it's not really a big deal, but the biggest buff increases you want is you want Feral Spirits to be helping you make Maelstrom. Increases your physical damage from Storm Strike and Doom Wind, especially if you're already running High Master like I do. I mean, 30% chance. It's probably going to go off whether I was running Doom Winds or not. This is basically just a for sure chance it's going to proc and increases damage a little bit, but it's not really needed. But here we go. So first, it's drop a Windfury totem, so you get that extra hit if it's going to proc. Call out your spirits. You're going to start attacking. Drop the totem into a Crash Lightning, Storm Strike. Pop the Storm Strike. Hit the Sundering Storm Strike because it's doing Windfury damage. I did not use Doom Wind. Should have used it, but still hitting okay. I guess Crash Lightning into the Storm Strike, into more Storm Strikes. Call out your rules again. Hit the Chain Lightning because there's nothing to hit. Into the Storm Strike. Crash Lightning, Storm Strike. A bunch of more Storm Strikes. A bunch of Storm Strikes. Storm Strike. Chain Lightning. Crash. Storm. Lightning. Oh, got Storm Strike again. Probably could have waited 2 seconds to something else for the Crash Lightning buff on Storm Strike, but it's fine. Chain. So you can do Ice if you want right here because it's better than Lava Lash. Crash. Storm. Sunder, Crash, make sure you're paying attention to Feral Spirits, into Storm Strikes, into Chain Lightning up for that proc, but you want to hit Crash instead first, make sure you Crash instead first, hit the Crash instead down, into a Chain, into a Storm, into a Storm, into a Crash, buff the Storm Strike, into a Storm Strike, and Chains, and reset this probably, into a Crash, into a Storm, into a Wolves, into a Chain. I should get Crash first, but it was and I'm not even using dropping Vesper Totem, which does a lot of damage anyway. Crash, Sunder, Storm, Chain, Crash, Storm. Oh, I hit Lava Lash in accident. I meant to hit Flame. Or Ice Strike. Anyway, and that's it. Now you can see if you want to look, yes, Chain Lightning does a good portion of your damage and Crash Lightning. But I think I stood there just too long. Usually the mobs are dead by then. And Windfury does do a good portion of your damage, but there's no actual way to increase your Windfury damage any more than it is right here. It hit 180 times, cool. You win like, a minute and some. But yeah, because there's so many mobs and they haven't died, you hit a Chain Lightning. It's hitting all 5 of them because this increases your damage by 40% and then it jumps to 2 extra targets. Yeah, how many targets in there? Yeah, 5. So it hits all 5 targets every time you do it. And then, I'm pretty sure, excuse me, that's your AoE. And when you go to do single target, it's literally the same thing. Let's try. You're literally gonna do the same thing. Feral Spirit, Doom Winds into Storm Striking. You drop your totem off right in the beginning. You actually should drop it off in the beginning first, and you'll see your damage numbers fly up. Okay, so Totem, Wolves, Doom Winds, and you roll up, Storm Striking until you want to Ice Strike there because of the Windfury proc. You're just slamming. Anything that might proc Windfury, reset that, still didn't do it, increase your Windfury, your Storm Strike damage by hitting Crash Lightning, Storm Striking. Okay, now there's nothing to hit. Now I can apply these Flame Shock and Ice and Frost Shock. Hit a Chain Lightning there, consuming, and then there's really nothing. You can reapply this if you want. Hit the Ice Strike, nothing going on, and that's basically it. You could wait, still nothing. Hit this. Probably should wait for the Storm Strike first, so I would have reset it. Because if it's right about to come up, and this is like number 10 on your Maelstrom weapon stacks, like consuming. You basically wasted a reset. You're better off waiting to use your Maelstrom when Storm Strike's on cooldown, so that you have a button to push that can proc some Windfury. And even if you look at the damage against this guy, look, Windfury was the top. Oh, almost jumped out the side. Windfury is at the top. Now, single target, your Windfury will be at the top at all times. Lightning Bolt, well, I guess, comes in next. I just hit some good crits on it, that's why. And then Storm Strike, and then your melee. Your Flame Tongue and stuff doesn't really do that much damage when you want to play a build like this. So, that's the build. Go out there, try it out, let me know. Now, when it, quick, comes to legendaries, I mean, there's nothing really. I feel like if you ran something like Doom Winds, I don't even know if this works anymore because you already have like that talent. This Witch Doctor's Wolfbone's a talent. Primal Alpha Actuators won't do anything. Legacy of the Frost Witch, you basically already have that for, and Legacy of the Frost Witch, this one. So I felt like there's no real legendary to run. I'm actually running Deep Root Elements is also a legendary already. So I just carved up an Ancestral Reminder. Because in a raid and stuff, you basically sometimes pop Bloodlust. You pop Bloodlust on every boss. And you pop Bloodlust sometimes on AoE pulls and you reset a boss and stuff like that. And you basically get an extra 20 seconds with this. So you get a whole minute of having, what, 40% haste for a freaking minute. I mean, if you run that, and I have no haste at all. So it's basically just something to run the LFR with. Just so you have an extra 40% haste for a minute during a fight, so you can proc them Windfuries. That's really all it's for, because there's nothing else I thought would be like, you know what, no one's running this, I might as well run this and try it out, and it works okay. So, that's the Windfury build. You go try it out, let me know. Check you later.